All in the Family was groundbreaking, iconic, and let's be honest, downright uncomfortable at times. This wasn't your typical family sitcom where dad knew best and mom wore pearls while vacuuming. No, this was the show that made Sunday dinners awkward for decades. Today, we're digging into 10 reasons why you secretly hated this legendary show. Get ready, because we're about to roast a classic. Reason number 1. Archie Bunker hit a little too close to home. Let's start with the big one. Archie Bunker was your uncle at Thanksgiving, your neighbor across the street, or, heaven forbid, the guy staring back at you in the mirror some mornings. The genius of the show was that Archie wasn't some cartoon villain. He was disturbingly real. You couldn't dismiss him as just another TV buffoon because he sounded exactly like half the people in your neighborhood. That moment when you realized Archie's bigotry wasn't exaggerated for TV but pulled straight from American living rooms? Yeah, that stung. And maybe, just maybe, you saw a little too much of your own family's casual prejudices reflected in those 30 minutes of primetime. Reason number 2. You couldn't figure out whether you were supposed to laugh or report it. The show made you nervous. The comedy came from Archie's ignorance. But sometimes the line between satire and endorsement got blurrier than your vision after your third martini. You'd laugh at something Archie said, then immediately feel guilty about it. Was the joke on him, or were you complicit in his worldview? The show demanded a level of moral gymnastics that left you exhausted. Norman Lear basically turned America's living rooms into sociology classrooms, and nobody asked for that kind of homework on a Tuesday night. Quick pause. If you're loving this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more nostalgic truth bombs. And if you disagree, the comment section is open 24/7. So bring your best argument. Reason number 3. Meathead was a know-it-all and kind of annoying. Mike Stivic, affectionately dubbed Meathead by his loving father-in-law, represented every college-educated liberal who ever corrected your grammar at a dinner party. Rob Reiner played him perfectly. Too perfectly. Mike had an answer for everything, a statistic for every argument. He was like that friend who went to one semester of community college and suddenly became an expert on everything from civil rights to the military-industrial complex. Sure, Mike was usually right, but being right doesn't make you less insufferable. His righteous indignation was exhausting, even when it was justified. Reason number 4. It tackled taboo topics before you were ready. All in the Family pushed envelopes. The show tackled tough topics that no one talked about, especially not sitcoms. Norman Lear apparently missed the memo that TV was supposed to be escapist entertainment. Instead, he served up heavy doses of reality that hit harder than your morning coffee. One week you're watching Edith nearly get assaulted. The next you're dealing with Archie's heart attack. The show forced conversations that many families weren't ready to have, turning living rooms into battlegrounds and making prime time feel more like group therapy than entertainment. Reason number 5. Gloria yelled every other scene and you still have tinnitus. Sally Struthers brought an energy to Gloria that could power a small city. Unfortunately, most of that energy came out as high-pitched yelling. Gloria didn't just speak, she projected, she shrieked. She turned every conversation into a Broadway audition. Whether she was defending her husband, arguing with her father, or just asking someone to pass the salt, Gloria delivered it with the vocal intensity of someone trying to communicate across a football stadium during a thunderstorm. The character was supposed to represent the changing role of women in society, but mostly she represented why the mute button was invented. Her voice could cut through concrete and probably did permanent damage to television speakers across America. Every emotional scene with Gloria felt like being trapped in an opera where all the singers had sinus infections. You loved her passion, but your eardrums filed a formal complaint. Reason number 6. It made you think too much for a sitcom. Sometimes you just wanted to zone out with some mindless entertainment, but All in the Family? It had other plans. This wasn't comfort food television. This was a 4-course meal of social commentary with a side of moral complexity. Every episode came loaded with subtext, metaphor, and enough philosophical implications to keep graduate students busy for decades. You couldn't just laugh and move on. The show demanded that you examine your own beliefs, question your assumptions, and maybe reevaluate some life choices. It was exhausting. Sometimes you wanted to watch a family argue about who ate the last piece of pie, not debate the merits of the welfare system or the morality of the Vietnam War. The show turned casual TV watching into an intellectual workout that left your brain as tired as your body after a full day at work. Norman Lear basically assigned homework with every episode, and nobody signed up for continuing education on Thursday nights. Halfway through and already offended? Perfect. That means we're doing our job. Smash that subscribe button if you're bold enough to keep going, and don't forget to share this with your most opinionated friend. Reason number 7. Edith's voice could shatter glass and your patience. Gene Stapleton's portrayal of Edith Bunker was nothing short of brilliant. Brilliantly grating, that is. Edith's high-pitched, nasally delivery could penetrate walls, interrupt dreams, and probably register on seismic equipment. Her signature, "Oh, Archie!" became both a catchphrase and a warning to turn down your volume. Edith represented the long-suffering wife archetype, but her voice made you understand why Archie seemed perpetually frustrated. Every conversation with Edith felt like listening to a car alarm that had achieved consciousness and learned to speak. She was sweet, well-meaning, and absolutely nerve-shredding to listen to for extended periods. The character was groundbreaking in many ways, showing a woman finding her voice and standing up for herself. But that voice could wake the dead and annoy the living. Stapleton deserved every award she won, but your ears deserved hazard pay. Reason number 8. You got in fights with your family because of the show. All in the Family didn't just entertain, it weaponized family dinner conversations. The show became a catalyst for arguments that had been simmering under the surface for years. Suddenly, Uncle Bob's casual racism wasn't just an embarrassing family quirk. It was an Archie Bunker moment that demanded confrontation. The show gave everyone permission to air their political grievances, and family gatherings turned into congressional hearings. Watching the Bunkers fight made your own family dynamics feel like performance art. Mom would side with Edith, Dad would defend Archie, and the kids would channel their inner Meathead with devastating effect. The show split families along generational and ideological lines, creating fault lines that some relationships never fully recovered from. You couldn't just enjoy a simple sitcom anymore. Every episode came with the potential for real-world consequences that followed you to the Thanksgiving table. Reason number 9. The political arguments sounded just like your living room. The uncomfortable truth about All in the Family was that the Bunker household arguments weren't fiction. They were documentary footage from American homes. Archie and Mike's debates about civil rights, the war, and social change weren't scripted comedy. They were transcripts from dinner tables across the country. The show held up a mirror to American families and reflected back all the tensions, contradictions, and conflicts that were tearing the country apart. You couldn't escape into television because television had become a funhouse mirror version of your own life. The political divide wasn't just something happening in Washington. It was happening in your kitchen, and All in the Family rubbed your nose in it every week. The show's genius was its realism, but that realism meant you couldn't get away from the very conflicts you were trying to forget. It was like having a family therapist disguised as a sitcom, and nobody asked for that kind of brutal honesty. Reason number 10. You still don't know if you loved it or hated it, and that's the most frustrating part. This might be the most maddening thing about All in the Family. It defied simple categorization. You couldn't just love it or hate it. You had to do both simultaneously. The show was brilliant and irritating, groundbreaking and exhausting, important and annoying. It challenged you, entertained you, and frustrated you. Sometimes all in the same scene. Decades later, you're still not sure how you feel about it, and that ambiguity is infuriating. Most TV shows are easy to classify. You either liked them or you didn't. But All in the Family occupied some strange middle ground where appreciation and annoyance coexisted in perfect tension. You respected what it accomplished while simultaneously resenting what it put you through. It was like being forced to eat vegetables that actually tasted good. You knew it was good for you, but you still kind of resented being forced to consume it. The show's refusal to provide easy answers or comfortable conclusions left viewers in a permanent state of unresolved feelings that persist to this day. Whether you loved it, hated it, or just watched it because there were only 3 channels, All in the Family changed TV forever, and maybe changed us a little as well. The show was uncomfortable, challenging, and occasionally insufferable, but it was also undeniably important. So, let me know in the comments, did you love it or hate it? Hit that like button, and subscribe for more retro deep dives. And I'll see you in the next one.